Continues in the murder trial for the Hampton father accused of killing his son. Jurors hearing more testimony today for and against Cory Bigsby.
Today, Cory's other son took the stand for the prosecution. The 7-year-old said at one point he wasn't able to wake Codi Bigsby up and his face was bruised. The boy also claimed the father spanked Codi often, but the defense pointed out inconsistencies in the boy's statements and argued the testimony was unreliable. Dan Kennedy has been in the courtroom since day one of this trial.
Yeah, Dan, thanks for joining us again here. So more testimony after lunchtime today. Bring us up to speed on that.
Hey, Dana, Philip, there was more testimony after the 7-year-old boy this morning, which was really a peak of emotions so far this trial. We'll get more into that coming up at 6. But I also want to bring in our legal analyst, Ed Booth, who I so appreciate joining us today. And Ed, I want to talk about previewing the defense's case. So the prosecution's still going a little bit, defense possibly starting tomorrow. They have hinted that Cory Bigsby will not take the stand in his own defense. But if he were, what were some of the pros and cons to doing so?
Well, first off, a criminal defendant always has an opportunity to take the stand and testify in their defense. However, they don't have to. And there are some strong negatives with doing that, because once you take the stand, you're fair game at that point. You've lost your right to remain silent, and you can be questioned on a whole host of things by the Commonwealth. So, you've got to weigh that factor as a defense attorney when advising your client. However, it's ultimately going to be that client's choice. But in this particular case, there's significant danger associated with doing that, but there's also danger with staying silent, so it's a difficult decision.
This is a case with no body, no forensics, no DNA, no fingerprints. Yesterday, a big moment in the trial came when we heard from a canine handler who said that his canine, who is trained to detect decomposed human bodies, hit on something inside the Bigsby bedroom. Is that the kind of evidence that jurors are going to have to rely on in this kind of case?
Well, in a case like this, there's going to be direct evidence, there's going to be circumstantial evidence, and the jury instructions tell you, or tell the jury, that whichever of those is convincing to the jurors is satisfactory proof. But in a case like this, with that forensic evidence, I think they're going to be relying significantly on that and the other circumstances and direct evidence to help make a decision as to guilt or innocence.
Ed, it took 2 days just to seat a jury in this case. This morning we had 2 hours of technical delays, which wasted some precious time in this trial. It's looking like this is now going to last into early next week, which means we go through the weekend. How does that complicate matters for a jury?
Well, the concern for the court, the concern for the attorneys is really, is the jury going to follow the instructions that they've been given and not do any independent research over the weekend? I mean, everyone wants a fair and impartial trial, and part of that is, asking the jury to uphold their oath and not do any kind of independent research, stay off their phones, stay off the computer, so that they can come in here impartial and unbiased on Monday morning.
All right, Ed Booth, legal analyst, appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.